What's up, YouTube? I'm back. It's been a long time since my last video. I decided to finally come back and redo this. I was kind of unhappy with the original one I made, so I'm going to wind up private that video, and I'm going to be making a whole tutorial guide on basically how to set up a home lab. Now that I know way more about it, because I've done my research and I've been using it for a few years now, and I just want to kind of help people out, figure out how to get it set up. This is definitely for beginners and stuff. I'm sure a lot of people want to get home labbing going for whatever reason it might be, whether it's to more privacy, whether it's just to run useful apps to help you to become more efficient at work, or just whatever reason it might be. Home labbing has a lot of benefits and stuff. As you can see here, here's one system I have running CasaOS. It's a pretty cool operating system. Not the way I currently really do most of my operations, but it's definitely the most pretty looking, I guess you could say, that I have set up. I'm more about efficiency than I am about prettiness, so, you know, but I'm going to show people how to set all this up to get whatever setup you want to go. I'm going to take you through the basics in this video on how to set up Ubuntu, which is just going to help you get Ubuntu set up, so that way in the next video I release you can follow that to basically get the whole home lab setup to start going. This video is purely basics. It's just going to help you set up Ubuntu Server, get Ubuntu Server fully up and going, and have it fully set up, so that way if you want to go find a different guide or you want to go do whatever, it is fully up and going. You're done. You don't have to watch the rest of the whole video, because there's a little bit of extra stuff I add towards the end. Is it necessary? No. Is it helpful? Could be. Depends on who you are, who you ask. But yeah, let's get into the rest of the video. What are we doing? Okay, we are gonna be setting up the Ubuntu server. Now this is my GitHub page, and I'm gonna have all the instructions on everything going on in the video, all the commands, all the stuff we need to do. So if you have trouble understanding me, or you just need text help because you maybe missed something, or you just get confused, just come to my text thing, and hopefully you can follow this if you can't follow me. There's two versions. There's the Ubuntu server medium, and then there's the normal one. Both of them are basically the same, just this version has one extra command because we have to do that because it doesn't come with as many packages. But either way, so basically what we just need a second PC basically that we're going to turn into our home server. We need to plug it in through Ethernet or to our switch, so plug it into your router through Ethernet or to your switch through Ethernet, either one. We want to do that just for redundancy, plus it just makes it a lot easier when configuring it, so we don't have to deal with Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff, because it gets a little weird with Wi-Fi. So hopefully that explains that. We need a USB drive with 8 gigs or more. Now you could get away with a smaller drive, but due to certain files and certain configs and different stuff, I recommend 8 across the board. It's a little overkill, but it should guarantee that you have no issues. So if you can get an 8 or more, that's great. Okay, now we need to go download the ISO file. Now, because we're doing Ubuntu, we're going to download it from the official Ubuntu website. So, over here is the official website. So, we're just going to come here and click download. If you want to check the system requirements, here you go. There's everything, how to install, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can download the current one, you can download it however you want. But we're just going to do the latest one. Now, back over here. There's also a thing where we need to create a bootable drive. Basically, use the USB to make a bootable drive off of it. Now, there's really a bunch of ways you can do that. I made a GitHub thing just to show this, but basically, it's just the same information, just different tools. So let's say you're doing this on Windows, you can click the Windows and it should take you right here. You can use Rufus, you can use Blender Extra, you can use Ventor, you can use all these. If you're on Mac, use these, so on. If you're on Linux, use these. And I would just watch a video on them if you get confused. Blender Extra is the one that I would probably recommend most people use, for the simple fact it is beginner friendly. It's literally 3 buttons. It's kind of hard to get it wrong. You can, but it's hard. Like, it would be kind of surprising if you have issues. But sometimes I know on Windows and Mac and Linux, I've heard people have issues with Blender Extra. So if you have issues with it, just use one of the other ones. For Windows, you can use Rufus. It works really good. Of course, if you want to download them, the easiest way is just click the link, go to the website. Here's this one. Just simply find the download link, which on this website specifically, you can come here, come downloads. Here's all the downloads. Just simply pick the one you want, download it right there. Which for Rufus, if you're on Windows specifically, they even have a Microsoft variant where you can download off the Microsoft Store if you have that installed. That would be the safest and the easiest way for most people to get it. Just to guarantee you don't download anything wrong. There's also the GitHub pages in case you want to download that way. So same thing for Blinker Etcher. You come here to the download page. Here's the download page. Just simply click downloads. Takes you here. Find your operating system. Click download. So forth. Okay. So that's literally it. You can go to the GitHub page too. So I'm just going to show you the GitHub page. Come here and find the newest one. In this case, if you're downloading Windows, just download this. So on. Either way, that's basically all you need to know. Like I said, for Mac, there's a few different apps than they have on Windows, and same thing for Linux. You have different apps. So just choose your platform and get ready. Just a disclaimer though, the reason I want to show this page off specifically is just when you're downloading stuff, always down from the official websites. There's a lot of people trying to hack you using these kind of stuff. Just be careful, okay? I'm not responsible for anything you download if you download the wrong thing. But basically, just come here, choose the platform you're on, and then click the button. It takes you here. Find one of these you like. My personal opinion right now is I actually prefer Ventoid. What Ventoid is it lets you download multiple ISOs, which means you can have one USB drive with all the different operating systems you might want to try. If you want to try Ubuntu, you can try Ubuntu. If you don't like a specific Ubuntu version, you can have a different one installed. And you can do Debian or whatever else you might want to try and install. The Ventoid is actually my personal recommendation, but I have had issues with it. And when installing it, some people might get confused on what to select, different things like that. So if you want the easiest thing, just for beginners, use Blinker Etcher. If you have issues with that, use Rufus, use Raspberry Pi Imager, use like one of those. They're all great choices. Now, Raspberry Pi Imager, some people might get confused with that one due to the fact that it's called Raspberry Pi. It's not just a Raspberry Pi, it's actually a pretty solid. It has an option to where you can just choose your own ISO to give it, and that way it will make it. It works pretty well. I've used it a few times, it works nice. But yeah, just use your platform, go to it. Back onto the tutorial. So, after we get all that, we just need to plug it in, reboot it, right? Reboot the system. It's going to tell us to change the boot menu. Now, when we change the boot menu on the PC that we're trying to do it on, so whatever the PC is that you're trying to set up, go to that PC, turn it on. It should tell you a key to press as it's booting up. Now, in most cases, it's going to be like escape, F2, F10, F12, F11, delete, something like that. It's going to be one of those keys typically. Okay. Some systems you can hold and click. Most systems you have to spam click. Spam clicking has been like the universal one for years and years, but some newer systems have it to where you can just hold it. I would just say spam click. It's more reliable, you get the system. But basically what you're looking for is you're just looking for the boot menu. Make sure the USB is plugged in and just change the boot priority of the USB to be the highest one. Okay? One thing is, on some systems, especially Windows, if you try to install it, sometimes the secure boot, which is what they have nowadays, won't let you install Linux to your system. And in that case, you may have to disable secure boot just to install Linux, and then you can turn it back on and get all that set back up. But assuming you do all of that, you should get the Ubuntu welcome message and basically the install setup. Assuming you're there, continue with the rest of the video. But in case you get confused with anything, right down here is the whole text thing. So if you need any help with commands, help with text, just follow the text guide. It will take you through the whole setup of getting the whole system fully set up. And it will tell you all the commands you need to do. Okay? So now, hopefully this helps you out. Go ahead and follow the rest of the guide, and yeah, peace. Okay, so once you see a screen similar to this, you can go ahead and get ready. So once you see a screen like this, it's going to ask you to try or install, that kind of stuff. That's good. That means we did the first step successfully. Now we're here. So let's go ahead and click enter on our keyboard. Now this is going to take just a little bit. Now, some people get scared when seeing this. If you do, just don't worry about it. It's fine. This is what it looks like. This is just standard Ubuntu stuff. There's nothing scary about all this. So just let it go for a minute. Okay, now that that's done, we should see a screen like this. We can go ahead and choose our language, so click enter. Go ahead and click, you can choose your layout, stuff like that. You gotta click identify, whatever, but that's correct for me, so I'm just gonna click enter. Now, here's a choice you have. Now, depending on which one you prefer to do, you could do both. But basically, to explain what these settings are, the top one is your standard Ubuntu server, which comes with a bunch of packages and all that kind of stuff. It is bloated in a sense where it has a bunch of pre-installed apps and stuff, but for the average user, I would probably say leave this, stick with it. It's the better option for you probably. But if you are running on a really tiny machine or you just want to really optimize your machine as much as possible, you come down here and do minimize just by clicking spacebar on it to choose it. Then you can continue. Both cases work. If you do minimal though, you will have to install certain packages because a lot of stuff doesn't come pre-installed. Like one of the best text editors you have to install, which we will be using that later in the tutorial. So if you do this, you will have to install a text editor. But we're just going to leave it on standard for most people. Just leave it there. That is fine. It will be fine for you. It uses a little bit more resources, but Linux is already very lightweight, so it won't be that bad. So let's just go ahead and click done. Now, here's where you get to, basically, you get your IP addresses and stuff. So, you can see like this. You can change it if you want to. You can come up here and change it by clicking this and, you know, choosing your stuff. But we don't care about this right now. We would be back to change this later. If we don't like what the IP address it sets up, we can change it later. We don't have to touch it right now. It is an option to change it now, but we don't have to. Let's go down and click done. Proxy. Basically, you don't need to do this. Just don't even worry about this. For most people, just leave it blank. There's no purpose to touch this. If you do want to do this, you can do this later, and you can make sure it's way more optimized and better that way. So just click done. Let this run for a few. This might take just a little bit depending on your internet speed. Yours might be done instantly. Some people's might take a while. Depends on your internet speed. So just let it run for a minute. Okay, now it's done. We're going to go ahead and click done. Okay, now here's a important step. Basically, this is gonna, you gotta choose your drive, basically. Best way to explain, you gotta choose your drive here. So if you have multiple drives, you can choose which drive you install it on. Make sure it's your drive, but no past this point, basically, anything you have on that drive will be wiped. You will lose all the data on that drive. So, if you want to do it that way, you can. Just be aware that's how it's going to work out. But yeah, make sure you choose your drive by clicking enter, choose it, blah blah. Now, set up your drive in a LVM group. I would actually recommend most people disable this. Basically, it encrypts your hard drive and that kind of stuff. Not worth it for most people. It's an option. If you want to learn more, I would say research it. But for most people, encrypting your hard drive is probably not what you want to do. Especially if you're planning on doing remoting into your server and doing a bunch of home stuff, you probably just don't want to deal with it. Because you can mess it up and just be locked out of your whole computer, basically. Well, not your whole computer, but basically all the data on your computer at the time. So just leave it off, click space, disable it, like that. I'm not going to do custom. You can look in custom if you really want to do custom. For most people, just don't do it. Continue. Okay, this is the final point. If you go any farther, your drive will be wiped. So up here you can see your mountain point, all that kind of stuff. You can see your drives, the drive it's going to install it on, all that kind of stuff. If everything looks good, click done. If not, go back and change it, or reset and do the whole process again to make sure everything's set up correctly. I'm going to click done. It's going to give us the warning. Let us know that anything past this point, your drive is going to be formatted, it's going to lose all the data. If you're 100% fine with that, come down, click continue. Now we're going to set up our username and passwords, stuff like that. So you can set this up to whatever you want, basically. So I'm just gonna do snowmods for the name, your server name. Let's just call server name, I don't know, Snow PC, just for the example. Right, you can name it whatever, home lab, like home lab dot whatever. You can name it you, whatever you want. Just name it however you want. This is gonna be the PC's name, basically. Pick your username. Once again, I'm just gonna do snowmods. Pick your password. Now this is your password for like your administrator and all that kind of stuff. So maybe make your password a little strong, just in case anyone ever does get access, or you just don't want anyone to get access. Maybe make that one a little strong. In my case, I'm just gonna set that up. Click enter. You can enable Pro. For most people, you probably don't want to go Pro, but some people may. It does have some advantages going Pro. It is paid though, unless there's a free option kind of, but probably just leave it unchecked and continue. Now this is a really important thing. If we want to ever access this server remotely, to be able to run commands and that kind of stuff, we will want to enable this. So if you plan on basically remote access into your PC, you would want to do this. Now I'm going to click that, switch spacebar just to select it. Now you could import a SSH key right now. You could change this later. Just leave it like that for now. Want to click done. This is basically a bunch of packages you can pre-install with the operating system if you really want to. But for most people, I would say just let your PC fully get everything updated, and then come and download the packages instead of downloading it now. It is an option. If you really want to, you can come in here and be like, I want to install, you know, whatever. Let's say I want to download Nextcloud. You just add space, that would add it. So, I wouldn't recommend doing this right now. Just leave it for later. It'll be a little bit harder later, so just clicking one button, but it's just more worth not doing it at the moment. So let's go down and click done. Now, while we were setting the password and all that kind of stuff up, it was already setting everything up in the background, so some of this is already ran. Basically, you just need to sit here and wait a little while. It's going to take a good bit to get done. If you want to see exactly what it's doing, you can click this, click view. It will show you everything that's doing. So here you go. But for us, we don't care. We're just going to hide that for now. Just wait here. And now I'm going to skip ahead because this is going to take just a few. Depending on your machine, it could be done pretty fast, or it might take a while. So I'm just going to skip ahead, and I will come back when it gets done. Okay, so once you get to the bottom, you should see the Reboot Now screen appear. So let's come down. Let's go ahead and click Enter, and let it reboot. Okay, I went ahead and just put it down some. You might have some text above and stuff. It has like your SSH key, all that kind of stuff in it. You may see that, you may not, depending on what version you're doing it on. So I just went ahead and put it down some. So yeah, either way. So now it's asking us to log in. Simply type in your username. Go ahead and type in your password. There you go. Now you're in. So now that you're logged in, we're going to go ahead and do some changes now. Okay? So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just type the word clear to clear everything off screen. Okay, now we're basically as bare bones we can go. Okay, so I went ahead and SSH'd into the server real quick. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use my automated script. I pre-recorded this way earlier, and then I edited my script a bunch and made it look a little more polished and add some more features that I feel like is necessary. And then when I was testing it, I found more issues, so I modified it a bunch. So because of that reason, I have decided to record this part before I edit it, and just add this in now, which is several days later, but after many tweaks and stuff, I feel like it was necessary. Either way, let's get into it. So to run my automated script, you can either go download it from my GitHub page and stuff. It's called Automatic Setup Ubuntu Server, or you can just copy and paste the link. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use my script from GitHub. Don't run the script, just without looking at it. I always recommend double check, look at the scripts you're running before you execute them, especially since this script, as well as several of my other scripts, run as sudo, which is administrator. Always double check what the scripts actually are doing, because not all scripts are safe. Always be cautious with that kind of stuff, either way. So let me go ahead and run my script. So type in your password. Now, here's that port step. On my old script, the reason I'm kind of remaking this video is because I had to do a bunch of changes and stuff. One of the things is, if you run this on a VM, like a virtual machine, or bare metal, choose the bare metal option. If you are having your server hosted by a company, like Amazon, hosting, or whoever might be, DigitalOcean, whatever, choose the second option. But if you're hosting it yourself, just choose the first option probably. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose that. Yeah, it goes ahead and sets the type, gives you your IP address, gives you the username. Now it's going to go ahead and download the update and all that. Go ahead and let that run for a minute. As it's downloading all the updates and making sure everything's up to date. Now it's installing all the updates. And now everything is up to date, so I'm going to go ahead and click this. If you don't see this message, something may have failed, but in general it should work without any issues. So if you see all this, just click whatever button you want. I'm going to click into. Now you can change your IP right here if you do that. Now in my case, I'm SSH'd in to the server just for the demonstration purposes. If you do decide to change your IP address, make sure that if you do, go ahead and make sure you're not SSH'd, otherwise you may have issues. Also, the script will not really function as intended if you kind of SSH into it and then change your IP, so double check all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna just set stack IP up. It's already detected our interface, but if you have multiple interfaces and you want to use a different one, up here it tells you what all your interfaces are. If there's multiple, it should tell you right here. Look through, choose the interface that's correct. It should look something like the one right here. It might be called something a little bit different. It might be like EN SO something, whatever. It might be a little bit different, but if it automatically set up correctly, it should look something like this. So in my case, I'm just going to use that, and then right here is your gateway and all that kind of stuff. It already detects it, so if you click enter, it's just going to use what it already detected it should use. If it shows something wrong, then type it in manually, but in my case, I'm just going to leave it what it detected because it is correct. So run that. I'm going to leave the IP the same because I'm on SSH, so don't mess me up. But if you want to change it to a valid port that your internet allows, you can change it there. This for most people should be default. Just leave it 24. If there's a very slight chance you're using a different one, then choose it, but it's probably 24. If your gateway is different, change your gateway. It should already detect your gateway. If it doesn't, choose that. Type it in. If it has detected your gateway, probably just leave it default. Now we're going to set up a DNS. We need to do this because when we set a static thing, it will not do certain stuff correctly, so we need to give it a DNS just to make everything safe and secure and set everything up properly. So I have 3 examples here of ones you might want to use. You can go look up other DNSs if you want. In this case, I'm going to use Cloudflare, and I also have Cloudflare Secondary set up, but if you want to use a different one, I can go ahead and set up Google just for demonstration purposes. Okay, and as you can see here, it's setting up a static IP address, and then it's also setting up that gateway and all that. Is everything good? Say yes if it is. If not, then say no. If you're connecting to this over SSH, probably say yes here. If you're 100% sure everything's correct, go ahead and just say no. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Now it's going to ask you right here to say yes or no. If everything's correct, you should be able to click enter. If you changed your IP and your SSH, you may get issues here, but hopefully not. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter. Now it tells you right here, it says if your connection fails, go ahead and type in this thing and stuff. Either way, gonna continue. Would you like to disable your SSH messages? Basically what this means is every time you SSH into the system, it will give you like this whole welcome message which tell you your IP, your IPv6, tells you what your system's running like at, like all the stuff. It's kind of just messy because a lot of times if you're SSHing in, you have a specific purpose or you're trying to do something. And it can be a little messy. I personally don't like it, so I didn't disable it. But if you like that welcome message, you can go ahead and just say no. I'm going to disable it though. This only removes it for SSH. You still get it when you boot the machine up normally. So like if you were to turn the machine on and like use a keyboard and mouse on that machine and log in and stuff, it will still give you the message. It only disables it through SSH. I click yes. That's going to go ahead and set those changes. Now it's going to go ahead and ask us for our time zone because certain system tasks and stuff need time zone set up. Most people probably just want to use UTC time, universal time, just because that's typically how most systems operate. But if you did have a different one you want to choose, you can come here, say yes, I would like to change it. You can select one of the defaults right there, or you can search for one. So for instance, let's just say I want to, I don't know, let's just say I want to choose a different one. It's not here. Let's say I want to do like Tokyo or whatever. I can click 6. Now I can type it in if I know the one I want to choose. And I know that one exists. I can go ahead and just type it in. A lot of cities don't have things, especially around the world, so if that's an issue, just click enter. Now it's going to show you a long list of different ones. These are all the different time zones you can use, and as you can see on the left, they're all labeled with a number. So go look through all of these, choose whichever one you want, and then just type in the number. So like I did earlier, I said Tokyo. I can come down to Asia, come down to these, find Tokyo, which is 299, and I can choose that. Or if I want to use UTC, I can do 485. So I'm just going to do 485 for demonstration purposes, and that's going to set that to UTC time. Would you like to set up automatic updates? So basically what this does is it's just going to automatically update your PC and keep your server automatically updated. It's good because it will do all the security updates, but I also have an option here to enable normal package updates. I wouldn't recommend normal package updates, but security patches definitely, to keep your server safe. So I'm going to enable that. Now it's going to ask you, do you want to enable the packages as well? I'm going to say no, because for most people, you probably don't want to. But if you really just don't ever want to touch your system, basically, you could theoretically enable it. Although you may run into issues if you do so. So yeah, either way, I'm going to say no. I'm going to ask you, do you want to set up automatic reboots? So basically the reason you would want to do this is a lot of times if you have a security patch with like a kernel update, it requires a reboot, which the issue with that is if you don't know you did one and stuff, it will basically require a reboot, but you may not know it. Of course, there's ways you can check to see if you need one, but basically this just automatically reboots after updates at a certain time. So basically what it does is after it updates, it will reboot after the time that you set. I'm not going to enable it here, but if you enable it, it's going to ask you to set a time, and then every time the server updates, at time, your system will completely restart, like just reboot. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to do a dry run to make sure the automatic update is correct and set up. So there it goes. Everything's good, so we're good to go. I'm going to click this, and there we go. Everything's complete. That was the whole system startup script, basically. So yeah, that was all you have to do to get the whole system set up. But if you want to basically see everything we did here, but the manual way, continue watching the video. If not, that's all you have to do. Now your system's up and running. I may make another video on how to use my other script to basically make sure you secure this machine, because right now it is updated. It's set up, all the basics are set up. You can do basically whatever you want, but we don't have a lot of the security stuff you may want to do. So yeah, either way, it's basically good to go. All you gotta do is if you were doing this on the machine before you SSH, you just basically copy this, copy that right there, and you SSH into your machine. It's the same command, all platforms. Just open up CMD, PowerShell, terminal, whatever it is, or whichever system you own, and just simply enter that, and that's all you gotta do. But yeah, that's it. So see you guys on the rest of the video if you stick around. If not, then peace. Okay, so now that we cleared the screen, everything is basically as clean as possible. There's a few things we want to do immediately after setting it up. So first thing we want to do is we want to make sure all this stuff is up to date. So how do we do that? Type sudo, like so, space, apt. We're going to type update. You can click tab to autocomplete, by the way, for anyone wondering. But in this case, we're going to type these and do sudo. Just to explain for anyone that doesn't know Linux, basically what I'm doing is just telling the game, telling it to update. I'm telling it and also do this. And the second thing I want it to do is I want to tell it to upgrade. Now, if you click enter, it's going to ask you, after it gets done, it's going to ask you, do you want to install the update? We're just going to skip that by typing -y. That's just going to immediately say yes. You may not want to do that. You may want to do that. For most people, you probably just want to do that. Just immediately allow it to update. So let's just run that. As you can see, now it's going to ask us to type in our password. So just go ahead and type in your password. It's going to go ahead and grab from your sources. Okay, so we're fully up to date. So it had no updates. So in that case, we're fully good. Everything's installed. Everything's up to date. We're good to go. I'm just going to type clear to clear this. Now, if you selected minimal drive, like the minimum, like Ubuntu minimum, you selected that, the next thing we need to do real quick is just install text editors. So if you went down that route, follow these commands. If you did not, just don't worry about this step. So just type sudo ap install -y, and we're just going to type these right here. So these are our two text editors we're going to use. We're going to use one of them from this video, but some files cannot be opened with it, so in those cases we're going to use Vim. Just don't worry about that. That's only if you download the minimal version of Ubuntu. You just need to type this in, click enter. It's going to install the packages. You should be good to go. Now, we are installed on the normal version, so we don't actually need to install those. But that's basically what they are. So, next thing we need to do, we need to set up a static IP address. Why do we need to set up a static IP address? We don't want the server to change its IP address, if we can help it. Now, there's two ways you can go about this. You can go about it by setting it up on Ubuntu and setting it up on your router, or by setting it up just on your router and telling your router to do it. But for most people, the easiest and simple way is just going to be to set it up in Ubuntu and kind of forget about it. Let's go ahead and get that set up. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to be using a few commands to figure some stuff out. First thing is IP R. Just type IP space R. What this is going to do is it's going to show us what our IP address of the gateway on our network is. So we're going to get into this. And now you should see this. Now, there's only one thing we need to look at, which is this right here. You should see default via, and then that's your IP address. So take note of this, copy it, do whatever you want. Just pay attention to what this right here is. This is the only thing we need right now. It's support though for the future. So now I'm just going to go ahead and type clear. And now we're going to do another command. The command is IP -4 -br, and then we're going to type adder. So just like this. So type this in, IP -4 space -br. It's this. So what this is going to do is it's going to show us two things we also need to see, which is what our client IP is and what our network interface ID is. So let's do that. Now, once you install a bunch of stuff, you may have a bunch of options that appear here, but if you first install it, you should see basically nothing. Okay? Now, we need to pay attention to two things. What are those two things we need to pay attention of? what is our user interface? So that's our network interface right there. So we can clearly see what our network interface is. And if we look right here, we can see what our current IP address is. We want to take note of what our interface name is and what our IP address is. And also pay attention to this, the slash and then the number after that, this number right here. It should be 24 for most people, but on the very rare chance it's not, just take note of that too. So let's clear. Okay. So now that we got all that information, we now know exactly what our stuff is. Okay? Now that we know exactly what our stuff is, what we want to do is we're going to type this command in, which is sudo nano. We're going to do /etc /network plan. Okay, so make sure you get that typed in. Do slash again 0 1 minus network edge dash all dot yaml. See this? Type this in exactly like this. Make sure you spell it correctly. Everything's correct. Just double check, triple check, pause, do whatever it takes. Just make sure this is 100% correct. Do not want any mistypes here. Click enter. Okay, so now we're in a text editor and we just create a new file. Now, what this file contains needs to be very precise. Okay, this is to make the IP static. Now, if you're on a really older version, you may need to tweak it just a little bit, but it's the same format if you're on any new Ubuntu. It's all the same. So what we need to do is type network. That's the first thing we need to type. Now we're going to come down. We need to click tab once. We need to type version 2, space 2, like that. Now we need to come down one. Click this. So we're going to tab out one more. We're going to go ahead and type nets, just like so. So once we type that in, okay, make sure you get this. It needs to be tabbed as well correctly. When I come down, we're going to double tab. Now, this is where we put our network card. So if you remember, we took note of what our network card is. So our network card might be something like this. It could be something like that. It could be something like this. It could be a lot. So whatever your network card is, now it's where you put it in. In my case, my network card was this. So whatever your network card is, do that. It's whatever the network card interface is. Okay? So put that in. Now we're going to come down. Now we're going to tap in a few more times. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay? So tab in 3. Now we're going to type DHCP4. We're going to go ahead and do space. Type false. Going to click enter. We're going to tab in again. We're going to go ahead and type address, just like so. So make sure it's all tabbed correctly. And now we're going to come down here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, just like so. We're going to do a dash. And now here's where you type your IP address. So you do IP, whatever your last digit is, right? So in my case, my IP was 192.168.30. So that's what mine is. Now you could change it. So if you want to do 5, if you want to do 4, if you want to do whatever. Now it's very important that whatever you do set it to, your router is set up to handle it. So like for instance, if you come over here and change this to like a 7 or whatever, it might not work correctly if your router isn't set up for that, right? So be careful depending on how your router is set up. Normally it's the last digit you change in most router setups. So it would be where the 30 is. You would change that. And now what we're going to do, so we're going to come here. We're going to click enter. We're going to tab out a few more times. So we can go 1, 2, 3. We're going to type router. Now, here's the shift. If you want an older version, you would type gateway 4 here, but due to the newer updates, they've changed it to router. So we're gonna do that. Now we're gonna come here and click enter. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna do dash, and now we need to do 2. And now we need to type default. Now we're going to click enter. We're going to tab back to right here, so it's going to be 5 in. And we're going to type via. And then your IP address. So space, then your IP address. Which in my case, for this tutorial, it was this. So, make sure all of this is correct. If any of this is wrong, if it ain't tabbed correctly or whatever, it will not work. It needs to be exactly tabbed like this. So to explain, for the 2 top ones, you only tab once. This one, you tab twice, 3 times, 4 times for these. So, you know, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, and that's it. And like I said, if you're on an older one, you would do gateway restore router, and then you would just put it below that. That's how that one would work. You don't need to add to default or anything like that. You just do the IP address. But on the newer versions, you do that. Okay? So now we're going to do Control O. We're going to click Enter. There we go. We're going to do Control X, just like so. And now I'm going to close screen. Now we need to type the next command, which is sudo network plan, if I can spell correctly, plan. And now we need to do try. Now, the reason we would do try and not apply, there's 2 choices. You can do apply or try. Try, if you're remoting into the server, you would want to do try. Because if something goes wrong, you don't have a catastrophic error. So, when you just type try, what it would do is, assuming you don't click enter to confirm it, it will automatically convert back to what it was when it was working. After, I think it's 120 seconds unless they changed it. So we're going to do try, just so you see what that looks like. But if you're 100% sure you're right, you can just do apply. But we're just going to click try. It's just letting you know that no one else should be accessing this pretty much, right? Okay. But as you can see, yeah, it's 120. So you have 120 to click enter to confirm. So I'm going to click it, and there we go. There's our new setup. So now the IP is either changed to what we wanted it to be, or it stays exactly where we have it set. And now we're good to go. That's all we gotta do for that. Now, like I said, you can type Netplan, like sudo Netplan, like spell quickly, plan, apply, and that will do exactly what we just did, but it will just auto do it. It won't ask you if anything goes wrong. It won't double check. It just immediately goes. So any typos and your internet access just went down this PC. Okay. So that's why I would recommend do try. It gets the job done. It's just one more button. Okay. That's it. It's a lot better. A lot more safer. But yeah, that's it. Okay. So real quick, just to make sure we did it, we're going to type IP. We're going to do -4, do -BR, arrow, just like so. And there we go. Our IP is set up. Now, like I said, if you changed it, you should see it change there. And all that. So yeah, that's how you do it. So I'm going to demonstrate this real quick by simply coming back to this command. If I change this to, let's say, a 5, like so, and I do this. Now if I clear real quick. Okay, as you can see, now it's a 35. So there you go. Like I said, that's how you can change it or leave it static, assuming that address is open. But yeah, that's literally all you have to do for the thing. So I'm going to go ahead and change it back to 30, because I actually liked it at 30. But yeah, that's how easy it is. You simply just change it, and if you know everything's correct, you're good to go. So as you can see, it's back to 30. Okay. Now, if everything's set up correctly, we're good to go. Either way, moving on to the rest of the stuff. Now that we're done with all that, we're gonna go ahead and basically switch off of this. So we've done everything we theoretically need to do to get it operational remotely, basically. We can switch full remote now. So if you have a second PC, whether it's a Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever, you can go ahead and switch to that now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like. We're going to go ahead and switch. I'm going to do Windows, but it works the same as if on Mac or Linux. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I went ahead and opened up CMD, so you can just type CMD on Windows, on Linux and Mac, both just type in terminal. You should be able to find your thing. Once you go ahead and load it up, it may pop up with a little bit of text and stuff. That's fine, I'm just using a custom thing, so don't see any text and that kind of stuff. I will have a batch file on my GitHub that you can download to make it way easier to log in every single time. You can also use programs like Putty, stuff like that if you want, but just for most people, just get it all set up first time, all that. Probably easier just to use command prompt or to use your terminal depending on which operating system you're on. So, now that we're here, what we want to do is we want to type in SSH, and now you need to type in the username that you set up, which in my case was snowmods. We need to do the @ symbol, and now the IP address of the server, which in my case was 192.168.1.30. Now, that's all we need to set up. Now, it's the same command for every operating system. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure every operating system, same command. So now we're going to click enter. Now, we get a fingerprint. On all operating systems, you should get a thing that's called fingerprint. It's fine. It's going to give you a hash, all that kind of stuff. Literally, don't worry about this. This is just letting you know you're accessing it. Just simply type yes on all systems and click enter. And now it's going to ask you to enter your password. So type in the password. Now, you only see that message the very first time you log in. After you log in the first time, you won't see that message again, or at least you shouldn't. So now we're logged in, we should be here to go. And let me switch it up real quick. Alright, so now that I've closed the screen, all that's set up, we should be here. Blank screen. Literally blank everything. Okay, so what do we want to do? Well, we're actually done with basically the whole setup. We can access it remote. We already updated it. We set a static IP address. It's basically done. At this point, you could stop the video, move on, and go follow a tutorial on how to install something. You could look up documentations and start following that, or you could do whatever. Now, I'm still going to show you guys a few more things, because I feel like some people would like to know certain information. Are they necessary? No. Are they optional? 100%. But I'm going to show you so you understand. Okay? So, first thing I'm going to show you is a helpful tip. This is not necessary, but it is a helpful tip. On Ubuntu, you can type sudo -i, which will access your root user. So now you're root. Why would you need to do root? Because in some cases, certain scripts only work if you're a root user. Certain commands might not work unless you're a root user. Is it necessary? No. In most scenarios, should you use this? Also, no. You should stay as a user and use that as much as possible, and try to stay away from root user unless you absolutely have to. Okay? Now, once we're root user, what do? Well, we want to go back to our other account. So how do we do that? We're going to type SU and then the username, which in my case was snowmods. So type SU, your username. Click enter. Now we're back that, but we're still in the rooter folder. So although we're on our account now, we're actually in the folder with the root user. So how do we fix that? Type CD. Now we're back. We're fully back to our account. Everything is back to normal. So we're back to our account. We've left the root. we're fully back. Now I'm just going to type clear. Next thing, when you log into SSH, every time you log into SSH, you're going to get a welcome message. Some people don't like the welcome message. I don't really like the welcome message, but I keep it most of the time. But some people just don't like it. So I'm going to show you how to remove that. So type sudo nano. I'm going to do / etc. Now we're going to type this right here in /sshd. Now we're going to click enter our password. Okay, so we're going to look for some. Now, we could search for it, but in my case, I'm just going to look for it because I find looking for it is just a better outcome. So, scroll down by using your arrow key. Now, here's what we're looking for. We're looking for these two right here. This is basically our welcome message. Now, if we don't want it in this format, we just simply do hash space. Now it's going to do Control-O, and now the welcome message is gone. We shouldn't see that welcome message again. Now, in order to make sure it applies immediately, we would actually need to type sudo system restart SSH. I'm just going to run it so you see it. It did not log us out, so that's cool. But either way, just type that in. It should fully reset all that. Let it go. Now I'm going to clear screen. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to show is how to set up automatic updates. One thing that happens is a lot of times people forget to update their systems. If you just leave it on the back end, you might just forget to update it. First thing we need to do, type sudo apt update. We're just doing this to make sure all of our packages are up to date. We already know they are, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show it off. So type the command in, let it run for a minute. This might take a few seconds, or it might be done instantly depending on your systems and your network speed. Now we're good. Everything is up to date. We don't need to do upgrade. If we had an update, go ahead and do upgrade. Okay? But we don't need to. What we need to do is we need to type in a command. So let me just clear. We need to enter this command right here in. What it is sudo apt install unattended upgrades. Go ahead and click enter. Now, most systems, it comes pre-installed. On Ubuntu specifically, it comes pre-installed. That's all we need to do right there. It's fully up. It's good. We're good. Okay. Now, it's not enabled yet. It's installed, but not enabled. How do we enable it? Well, let me show you. This is how we enable it. We're going to type this command right here in. Sudo dpk wigfig. Okay. Priority low unattended upgrades. Okay. Copy this. Okay. Go copy it off my GitHub. Copy it here. However you want to do it. Once you see it, go ahead and click enter. It's going to give you this screen. I know some people might be scared. Don't be scared. It's just a nice little interface. Now, if we say no, it's not going to enable it. If we say yes, it's going to enable it. So let's go ahead and click yes. There we go. It's up to date. We're good to go. It's going to automatically update our systems now. Now, some people don't want it to update the actual system. They only want security updates. That kind of stuff. So once again, you don't have to do this. Optional. But if you only want security updates, so I'm just going to copy the command for it. Be a little bit faster, honestly, than me typing the whole thing in. That's the command. Copy it, paste it, whatever you want to do. That's the command. Once we get that, we're going to click enter. Here's all the information. So, basically, if you only want security updates, we're going to come in here, and we're going to tell it we only want security updates. Now, in this case, it's doing all updates by default. So, this is basically the whole folder. If we don't want something to do it, we remove the hashes in front. So as you can see right now, it's doing the update. So that's the security update. It's auto set up. It's going to do app security. It's going to do infection security. Now, the normal updates is not enabled. as you can see, it's actually disabled right now. So if we wanted it, we could just remove that, and that will update it. Now, in cases where you need the information on what your stuff is, in case you do need to know what your distribution name and stuff is, so assuming you need the ID, which in this case is Ubuntu, and then your code name, which is whatever your code name is. Assuming you need that information, let me show you. So I'm going to Control X real quick. I'm going to do in, so say no. We can do cat. We're going to do /etc/os-release. Just like so. Enter. And now we get all the information. So we get all the information we need. So what we're looking for right here is, you can see the version, all that kind of stuff. We're looking for this right here. Our ID, which is that. And what is the code name? Which the code name is this right here. Now, if you needed that information, now you know how to find it. Okay? We don't really need that information, but it's there. So I'm going to use my O key to go back to my previous command. But let's say you also want to set it so it auto reboots your system. So if you have a time that you like, you can come down here. It's down just a little bit. Let's see, where is it? It's right down here. There we go. Okay. So you can see right now it's actually disabled. But these commands right here, if you untick them, it will set it up. So, right here, auto reboot, right? If you remove the tag over here, so you remove this, right, and then set that to true, it's gonna auto reboot when it gets done updating. Do I recommend this? Probably not. For most people, I would say it's probably better to manually reboot yourself every once in a while. Is it an option? Yes, it will keep you up to date the most, so you should have no issues with that. But if you're doing things like Docker, Portainer, Kubernetes, or a bunch of different stuff in the future, or whatever you might be trying to run on the server, if you don't have them all set up correctly, I mean every single one of them set up correctly, if even one of them set up wrong, you might have issues with things not rebooting correctly. You might have other issues. So for most people, just don't even touch this. But if you want to, go ahead and type true here, then come down here, and we can come to this right here, undock this right here. We could type as soon as it gets done, basically, which is now. But you can also set a time. If you set a time, that means at that time, every single time it updates, it will auto reboot for you. So why we do that is so if you haven't set the automatic reboot and you never use your systems, like you never use it, let's say 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, midnight, or like let's say in the afternoon at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever. You can set this up to the time zone stuff, so just set that up, and then that way it will reboot only at that time. Okay, so right now by default it's due at 2, so it's going to run that every time at 2. You can look up how to set all this up yourself if you really want to know. There's a bunch of information here for auto updates you can check. So if you really want to dial in your automatic updates, you can really dial it in here. For most people, if you just leave it default, it will probably work flawlessly for you. Because by default, it's just going to automatically update security updates. You shouldn't have to touch anything. Everything should be fine. We're just going to go ahead and do Control X. No, because we don't want to save anything. But yeah, that's all you got to do. Now, if you set it up and you're like, how do I know I set it up correctly? Let's test it. Let's just simply test it. Did it work? Okay. We're going to put this command right here in. Okay. Sudo unattended upgrades. We're going to do drive run, which is basically where it's just going to run it as kind of like a test. It's not a real one. It's purely a test /debug. So let's click enter. Okay, and there we go. I just checked everything. We're good to go. We're good. Okay, so there we go. Everything ran correctly. It all ran good. Yeah, so we're good. it worked fine. Now, let's say you're like, well, if I have it set to automatically update, how do I know when it updates something? Well, we can simply check the files. There's two files we can check. We can get a summary and we can get details. Now, there's two files. So let me just copy them real quick. Let me show you. This is one of them. So if I click this, we can see there's the file. Now, if it ran, it would have the updates here. It would tell you everything about it. Okay? We can scroll up, assuming your whatever thing you're using lets you scroll up. You should be able to scroll up and check it. But yeah, you should be able to see everything that update, everything that download, all that. Now, if you want to see the other one, you type this command right here in, as you can see, enter, and now it should tell you everything that updated. So in our case, we had nothing, because we just installed it. Everything worked fine. So yeah, assuming everything's working, your thing's up to date, everything like that, you should be good to go. And that's basically everything. Now the system is fully up to going. You should have no issues. Everything should be set up, and now you can go download Docker, maybe go download Kubernetes. You can go download whatever you want to do, get your system set up, start hosting websites, start hosting home lab stuff, go do whatever you want to do. I will have more videos coming showing what to do after this step to start doing some real application stuff. So I'm showing specifically the home lab and setup, so I will be getting onto that in a little bit. But just for demonstration purposes, this is how you set up Ubuntu. It's that easy. If you stick through the whole video, congrats. Thank you for watching. But yeah, that's basically it. We're fully good. So now Ubuntu is fully set up. We're fully good to go. And like I said, the only differences in minimum and non-minimum here is we just need to install a few more things, which is basically just 2 text editors in our case. So yeah, either way, hopefully this helps someone out there, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace!